I'm Derek Kissos. I'm Director of Federal Capture at Appian, and I served in the U.S. Army.
Terry McCormick, Manager, Talent Development, United States Navy.
I was in the United States Army.
I was a United States Marine.
A former U.S. naval officer.
I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force.
United States Marine Corps. The United States Marine Corps.
I entered the Naval Academy at the age of 18 back in 1998.
I signed up for the Marine Corps in 11th grade. My father was in the Air Force, my uncle was in the Air Force.
I was the first person in my family on either side to join the military. My plan all along was to go to school and then go work for my father. And I decided that it was best to have him as my best friend and father versus boss. And in 2005, I decided to join the U.S. Army.
My father was active duty Navy, so I knew that the military was a huge option. My parents worked extra hard to make sure I wasn't joining because of my dad, that I realized I had other options, but I loved the Navy lifestyle.
It was kind of an emotional decision because I actually grew up in Germany, a son of an American. So I always grew up with this American identity, but I sort of felt like I never earned it. I just had it because my dad happened to be American. So I felt sort of honor-bound.
It was after my aunt had come back from Okinawa, where my uncle, who was a captain in the Air Force, had just lost his life in the line of duty. And I haven't thought about that for a while, but she was still so adamant that the Air Force was the best thing that had happened to them and their family, and she encouraged me to join. I was in a life of construction, and so I figured, you know, if I'm going to break my back, it might as well be for our country and, you know, honor my uncle.
Coming out of it, did you know what you wanted to do professionally?
Not at all, not at all.
I did not know what to do.
I had no idea.
You know, I was a electronic technician background. I went in for the interview and took a test, and I answered half of a question out of 9 about mainframe computers. But then his response was, well, you're a Marine, we can train you. So that's where I started.
When I had done my first 5 or 6 years at my first duty station, we had a lieutenant who swore computers were the future, and this is between 1990 and 1995. And he required us to do presentations and everything, and we hated it at the time. But at my next duty station, I was the only one that had ever touched a computer, so I became our Novell network administrator.
You know, one of the things that you learn in the military, aside from learning to serve, learning to lead, is learning to adapt. And there's so many critical business skills that were fostered a lot of times without our knowledge and developed and inculcated in us.
The biggest thing that helped me along the way, especially in this role, is the ability to work with people at all levels, peers, leaders, support staff, and get people energized about going forward in one singular mission.
For me, the experience directly relates that team mentality. So when we sit down and somebody's like, I'm really overburdened, the initiative that I have from the Marine Corps is always to say, you're on my team, we need to make this right. In order to make it right, I need to take that load. And I'm not shy about coming to somebody and saying, how are you doing? Are you okay?
I think the focus on what's, I guess, referred to as the whole person concept, you know, beyond just doing your job, there's also community, volunteerism, continuing education, looking out for others. I think that's really a big thing. You know, it's not just here to do a job, it's here to do beyond.